My son Tommy could have been anybody's son.
My William was a smart, funny, handsome young man.
Todd was fun. He was funny.
Luke was really smart. He had enough credits to graduate in 3.5 years.
Brian was just the kid next door, the boy you wanted to be yours.
Dakota was just one of those type of people that you liked to be around, and I miss him every day.
Family and friends are canvassing the streets of Pittsburgh, desperate to find Dakota James. The 23-year-old seemed to vanish Wednesday night after having drinks.
I never in my wildest dreams thought it would happen to my son, one, or to my family.
Todd was strong. Todd was healthy. Todd was not the kind of person that would have been abducted. I just went totally numb.
Luke was my only child, and when I realized that this was forever, it was extremely awful.
When we heard that Will was not coming home, it was like a bomb went off in our world. Nothing like this should happen to our family.
Life without Tommy is like a piece missing. I think about him every second of every day.
I never thought Brian would go missing. You hear about things like that all the time, but they're always somebody else's family in a different town. They're not your own.
If this could happen to my son in our rural community, it could happen to anyone. I do not want this to happen to one more mother.
Well, this is the first time these 6 mothers have ever met, and yet they seem to have so much in common. So again, let me say I'm sorry for your loss. It's just not the natural thing to bury our children. You know, that's just, I hate that for every one of you. So Pam, what did the police theorize happened to Dakota?
Well, the first theory was he's 23 years old and he has a right to go missing and not let anybody know where he is.
Right.
And then they said that...
Which meant that delayed their investigation?
Absolutely. And then they basically said, we know he went out drinking, he got drunk, he walked down across the highway, walked down the steps, went to pee, and he fell in the river.
This went on for 40 days, right? That's over a month. Tell me about that time.
Well, it was very painful, very stressful time. I mean, all we could do is walk around and search for him and hope that we could find him. You just think every day that you go to look for him that you're going to find him and everything's going to be okay. You never imagine that it's actually going to turn out how it does.
Tell me about the suspicious things that caused you to think this is not an accident.
Well, number one, they never could prove to me that he got on the bridge to walk home. There was never any evidence. The evidence only showed that he went through a dark alley. Then a camera that wasn't working never showed him going left or right.
Okay.
So there's no evidence he was there where they say that he was.
Right. So this is just speculation on their part.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, Patty, in La Crosse, there were many missing boys at the time. Did that cross your mind?
Well, it crossed my mind before Luke went missing. It crossed my mind all the time. As I said, I would tell him to stay away from the river because I knew that there had been quite a few drownings, boys drowning in the river. And so it was very unusual that he would have gone down there.
3 days after he went missing, where did the police find him?
They found him in the river, right at the river's edge. He was about 20 feet down into the river.
Had he ever been seen by the river before, day or night?
No.
That's not something that he did.
No, he just...
But on this night, the speculation is he just left this establishment, walked to the river, and just fell in.
Just fell in.
Now, Lynn, Will made a phone call right before he went missing. Tell me about that phone call.
He was at a hockey game and he called his girlfriend to come and pick him up. He was ready to leave the game.
Right.
And so she was on her way to pick him up.
And how long between the phone call and her arriving to pick him up?
Probably 2 minutes.
So in 2 minutes, he went missing?
He did.
Why do you believe that his death could not have been accidental?
He had to walk a good ways to be where they said that he went in. They speculated that he was going to go pee in the water And when he was recovered, his fly was not open. And they also said there were no injuries to his body, but there were injuries to his face and his knees.